Welcome to JW News. And today we have news that is scary. When we think of the legal department of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is the man, Philip Brumley. Now, we've seen him all over JW.org. He's the lawyer that they put up in front of everyone, saying that we are now part of the European Union. He goes on, and they have put this guy on high. But today we're going to take a close look at this man to see what kind of legal defense the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society use and what they rely on. Now we're going to go to a website. I'm not sure if all of you know about this website, but this is a great website. It's called avoidjw.org. And I'll put a link to this website in the bottom. This website is put together by, we're not sure who, but a lot of inside people. If we go to About on this website, it says that they're all baptized Jehovah's Witnesses. And some of them, I believe, are inside the organization. You can get information on elders' books, elders' letters, everything that you can think of. In fact, you can go and look at the activism section, and you can get a list of all the YouTubers like ourselves all over the world. This is a great site. We want to give a great shout out to whoever's involved in doing this site. It's all voluntary work. They don't even take, well, I think they take contributions, but I'm not sure if they do. But anyways, take a look at this site if you haven't already. We're going to use this site for this article. And it's out of this court case with Brumley had taken place in Montana here. So let's get right to it. Philip Brumley sustained effort to deceive, and he was fined over $150,000 in the Montana court in a child sex abuse case. So what really happened there? Well, here's the gist of it. Philip Brumley, legal counsel for Jehovah's Witnesses, the head of the legal department at their headquarters in Patterson, New York, has been fined $154,448.11. On June 22nd, 2020, he submitted an affidavit to the United States District Court of Montana, wherein he used language that was an intentional and sustained effort to deceive the court. The affidavit was used in 2 cases involving child sexual abuse. And then it goes on to talk about it. So I have the affidavit pulled up. I took a look at it myself. It's right here. This one. And, okay, so we're going to beat that. So we're going to take a look at the affidavit. It's right here. And we're going to take a look at some of these points. This is where Philip Brumley sunk himself. So he says he's a general counsel for the Watchtower. So here it is, number 3. Watchtower is a not-for-profit, formed blah, blah, blah. Registered office, has its own assets. It's not a direct or indirect parent or subsidiary of any corporation involved in this action. So this is it, number 6. So what Watchtower has done is they've changed their corporate structure all over the world. And they made little companies all over this place to protect the leaders, the governing body, and kind of how they operate. So they made that into its own little company. Then everywhere else, it's all little companies. And that's what they've currently done. Now, going back and going to court and saying that headquarters can't be responsible for any of this stuff because it's not part of the same company is false, because this court case proves that Watchtower governing body directs the whole world. And they just used a bunch of letters. And they show that this is all false. This is all a diversion, or this is all deceit to get away from liability. And that's what Watchtower is doing. They don't want to take liability, so they create false companies, or a bunch of companies. They're not false, but they try to hide things. Well, it's pretty hard to hide things now from what you did 20 years ago. Because 20 years ago, they didn't have all these shelf companies to protect themselves. And these court cases are fought from 20, 30 years ago, even longer. But these court cases are all coming out. The sexual offenses are coming out. They're being fought. And this is not current stuff. So Watchtower is trying to hide behind current corporations and subsidiaries. So number 7, Watchtower does not have and never has offices in Montana, does not own assets in Montana, and does not even have employees in Montana. This is what the Watchtower is telling the courts. We don't have. So are you telling me that Watchtower has no kingdom halls in Montana, and that Watchtower doesn't own these kingdom halls, and that all the donations from the kingdom halls don't get funneled over to Watchtower, and Watchtower doesn't have a copy of everyone's visas and credit cards and bank cards so they can withdraw automatical funds from all these people living in Montana? Bullshit. It's bullshit. Watchtower knows that, and that's why Brumley is getting sued. He's getting an ass suit off him, and he's sued by the victims. The victims are the ones that are run through months and months of this bullshit in court, and the victims are the ones paying. So they just got pissed off and sued him, and they won. Now Brumley's, of course, appealing it because he's an ass. He's a Watchtower ass, and that's who this guy is. So if you're in the Watchtower, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, if this does not wake you up, I don't know what the hell is going to, because this wakes me up like 10 times. This makes me vomit. This makes me sick to my stomach that the Watchtower goes to this depths of lies to get out of their CSA cover-ups. So it's all on the site. I could get into reading it here, but I think it was pretty emphatic about what I just said. And that's how I sum it up. But they lied. I'm going to take you to the Bible. And I was a Jehovah's Witness for most all my life, and I was taught not to lie. And we were taught this. This was beat into us by the Watchtower. Here we go, Watchtower JW.org. Be honest in all things. We wish to conduct ourselves honestly in all things, honestly with ourselves, honest with others. The disciples James explained, if any man thinks he's a worshiper of God but does not keep tight reins on his tongue, he is deceiving his own heart. On and on. So now I'm not going to use too much of Watchtower's stuff because I don't trust them. They get up and lie in court. They've lied to me my whole life about them having the truth. And here they are worse than the Catholic religion that was hiding pedophiles when I was in it. And we're looking out and saying, look at the Catholics, look at the Catholics. But now look at the Watchtower. Look at the Watchtower and look at its lawyers. So I just go simply to the Bible. I plug in a lie. Scriptures all come up. Proverbs 19:5. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will not escape. So here this Brumley has 150,000 plus in fines that he has to pay. Proverbs 6:16-19. There are 6 things that the Lord hates. Yes, 7 that are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. You think of all the blood transfusions that they're telling the kids not to have and people that have died. So those are hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that devises wicked plans. Isn't that what Brumley is doing in court? Isn't that what the Watchtower is doing to get out of paying what legally they should be paying? Cover-ups, sexual cover-ups, CSA cover-ups. So wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies. Isn't that what's going on with Brumley? Breathing out lies to the court under oath. And one who sows discord among brothers. And isn't that what Brumley and the Watchtower is doing? I hate to say it, folks, but here it is in Proverbs. There are 6 things that Jehovah hates, if you're to read that in the New World Translation, and 7 that are abomination. And it's all about lying, and it's all about deceiving people and false witnesses. So the Watchtower's hitting a number of these in Proverbs. Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are the abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. Proverbs 12:19. Truthful lips endure forever, but the lying tongue is but for a moment. Revelation 21:8. But as for the cowardly, so they put this in with the cowards, the faithless, the detestable, as for the murderers, sexual immorality, sorcerers, idolaters. So in that bucket of maggots, you have all the liars, and their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. So when we look at the Bible, if you're a Bible person, the Bible's very clear about lies. And if you go outside of the Bible, you just go out into the world is very clear about lies. When they catch you lying, and when they catch a high up person like the Watchtower lying about to get around and escape the charges from CSA, from these children that have been abused, the Watchtower is going to deal with it, and it's all coming back on them. So that's what it says: a false witness will not go unpunished. So the Watchtower has already dug their grave. It's already falling. We see all of these lawsuits all over the world. And the more lawsuits they lose, the more they hit the headlines and the more they become wicked, from witness to wicked. And that's where we are with the Watchtower. So friends, if we want to stay out of that, we get out of the Watchtower, we live our life with love. Jesus gave us 2 commands: love God, love our neighbor. Love does not include lying. The two don't mix. It's like oil and water. They don't mix. So when we love, we have no room for lies, and it's not within our vocabulary. So when we look at the Watchtower, we have to shake our heads, and we have to shake our heads in disgust. But if we get out and we keep living our life with love, helping others, being honest in all things, that's what Jesus is looking for. Bye.